Hello everybody, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Siegfried Schott, I'm Technical Director here at CAXperts, and today with me I have Jeff Roberts from Oracle. So Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Siggy, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, Jeff Roberts, I'm part of the industry strategy team in the construction and engineering part of Oracle, with a focus very much on the energy space and innovation. So, glad to be here and support this webcast this morning. Thanks, Siggy.
Okay, so as always, this session will be recorded and we will provide you a link to the recording in a separate email after the webinar. And also, as always, feel free during the webinar to use the chat panel and ask any questions you have, and we will try to answer as most as possible after the session, and at least we will answer all questions in a separate email. Okay, so let's have a look at the agenda. So Oracle and CAXperts have built a strategic partnership to bring the data side of things, which is perfectly covered by Oracle Unifier, and the 3D model graphics together. And before we go into details of this, we like to give you a short overview on the single products. So therefore, I change to Jeff, and he will give you an overview on Oracle Unifier.
Thanks, Siggy. Hopefully we can see this.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So this is Unifier, ladies and gentlemen, which is very much a project controls, project management, asset delivery platform, very much data centric. So allows you to manage data not only from human interaction but also digitally, and obviously can ultimately store documents relating to those processes, and is very much a forms and workflow driven data solution. As you can see, it's very hierarchical in its nature, so you can structure your assets and your projects in any which way you want, understanding that data rolls up through the solution to the highest level. The whole composition and the whole makeup of Unifier is around supporting processes. They could be processes that come with the solution and are part of the configured platform, things like cost management, RFI processes, transmittals, submittals. They're already included. Obviously, they can be effectively altered to support your exact business needs. Then we have the concept of configured packages. So we are developing industry packages. We're working with the Construction Industry Institute to develop some of their models and deliver packages that will just drop onto the platform for immediate use. We have developed a progress measurement system. So for those of you using rules of credit, to define physical percent progress. Again, we have a configured package, which again just drops onto the Unifier platform and is available for immediate use. So, if we think about just those three elements, they're, enabling project management, project controls to manage their data around the asset delivery. It's all in one space, highly integrated with P6, so it brings the best of schedule, resource, and all of the data-driven components around project controls and project management that are required to deliver a typical asset through its delivery process. And not only in the capital project space, but also in operations, we're seeing Unifier being used right the way through the asset life. So if we think about what we have, this is just a project, again, security will define what a particular user can see or cannot see. And very much is driven by tasks. So, it's a workflow forms driven solution. So in essence, everything that you need to do is filtered up through a list of tasks. And those action items there are really your inbox of things for you to do, things for you to action as an individual. But then we have standard processes that are already baked in, which I talked about. So things like RFIs. We have a typical log. So this is a log that you can identify all the columns of data. And each of these is a record. If you click on this, it identifies all of the information around that particular RFI. But one area I do want to show you is obviously we talked about it being a forms-based approach, but also a workflow. And this workflow, this is a graphical representation. But in essence, what you can do is turn any swim lane standard operating procedure you have in your organizations into an automated data-driven process in Unifier. So it's extremely good at actually taking what everybody has in their organizations in terms of standard operating procedures, these workflowed, often manumatic processes, and automating them. It's extremely good at removing Excel from organizations, because in essence you can mirror anything that's in Excel in Unifier, which obviously then turns it into a true data platform. So ultimately we have configured capability that's delivered when the product is installed. We have industry packages that are coming with it. And we continue to work with our partners to develop and enhance really the data-driven components of Unifier. And hence the relationship with CAXperts around working with engineering data, the model, and visualizing that. And ultimately that all revolves around equipment and materials, because ultimately that's what an asset is. Boils down to equipment and materials actually being managed through their life, being delivered and deployed in a project, and then actually managed through their life until they're actually decommissioned or retired. And within that material, obviously that is the link to the model, and you'll see that as Siggy talks about the integration. So, overall, I think that's really how we'd position Unifier, and I'll hand back to you, Siggy.
Okay, thanks, Jeff, for that overview. So I change screen back. Okay, now I give you a short overview on UniversalPlantViewer, or short UPV. And today I'm going to use the browser-based version of UniversalPlantViewer, because you saw Oracle Unifier runs in a web browser, and therefore the browser-based version of UniversalPlantViewer is the perfect match for this. So let me open up just our standard model. So that's our standard demo model. You might already seen in one of our previous webinars. But let me go back to the folder browser and start another one, like our huge demo. And you recognize it opens up exactly in the same time. So within 2 or 3 seconds, even that huge plant opens up. Or we can open up another model which comes from a totally different type of model, that's a robot factory. So we can handle all kinds of assets inside UniversalPlantViewer. And as you see, I have opened all 3 at the same time. And it's absolutely no problem for my computer, because we use the server-based approach. So the model rendering is fully done on server side, which allows everybody to look on the model. So regardless what power your computer has, it doesn't matter. At least it has to display a video stream. The rest is handled by the server. So really, it's a solution not only for the specialists, it's a solution for everybody who is interested in having a look on the 3D model. Okay, let me go to full screen, and then you will hardly see any difference to the local version. So the main focus on developing UniversalPlantViewer was to make it as easy as possible for the casual user. So navigation is very easy. Just within 5 minutes, you can fully drive UniversalPlantViewer. We can bring all different kinds of formats together. So in this model, there are, I think, 3 CAD formats. We have here, if I hide that format, we have a drone scan here from that stack. We also have a laser scan in. So let me go to the laser scan. So, and this is a fully meshed model. So you can go to any position inside the model and look around. We have a very powerful search functionality, which is as easy as using Google. Just type in what you are searching for, click on the result, and you will be brought to the asset you was looking for. Okay, so what else do we have? We have for sure, we have the technical documents in here. So if I click on that valve, I can just open the data sheet for that valve, for example. Or I can go to the isometric drawing. And from the isometric drawing, I have a one-to-one relation to the elements in the 3D space. So I can easily jump back. For sure, I can also go to the IntelliPit. So, and fully have a look on the PNID with all the attribute information you need to have inside the model. Okay, if we go back to the 3D space, all of the common functions you expect from a viewer are supported. So like clipping in smaller pieces. So if you're only interested in working in small regions of your plant, you can use that clipping functionality to limit the model down or release it to bring the rest of the model back. We have a lot of additional functions like measurement, coordinate queries. One function we have, which will be interested later on, but I show it here. We can colorize the model driven by the attributes that are inside the model. And later on, I will show you how we can do this also by data that is not included in UniversalPlantViewer, but hold inside Unifier. Okay, on top of this, we have a lot of functions to enrich the model with additional data, like, let's say we can map drawings into the 3D space. So here we can really underlay a drawing under the plant, so we can compare if an arrangement drawing still matches the CAD model. We can use photos, for example, to match a thermal scan, in that case, onto the top of the CAD model. And the last thing I'm going to show you, for sure, we have some annotation capabilities, so we can mark up if something goes wrong. And that's not only possible in the 3D space, it's also possible in the PNID or on the linked specifications. Okay, so really a comprehensive viewer that gives you all the possibilities you need to bring your 3D model to everybody. Okay, so let me close this viewer and show you how this works together with Oracle Unifier. And Before I do that, let me just log in here so it goes a little bit faster. I talk a little bit about the concept. So the main concept is you have Unifier on one side, you have UniversalPlantViewer on the other side, and we just created a small web interface, and we are using both APIs to communicate between the two products. And when we first tried this, I guess both of us were really surprised how easy it was to bring the two products together, because both APIs were well documented, very powerful, so it was really fun to work with this. Okay, and what does this concept allow you? Here, just a few samples. There are much more possibilities, but one action I will show you is you can just click a hyperlink inside Unifier, and it will directly bring you to that asset in the 3D model. You can, what I already mentioned, you can grab data out of Unifier and visualize that data in color inside UniversalPlantViewer. And you can also use the other direction, so you can push data from UniversalPlantViewer to Oracle Unifier, for example, to generate a request for information. Okay, so let me go to the demo here. So I've logged in. Here you see a list of assets that are all of our pipelines. Here I have a list of equipments. And if I select this equipment, for example, you see here is our hyperlink. And let me just click on that hyperlink. And this you see in a separate tab, UniversalPlantViewer opens up and zooms to that equipment and brings it already into a highlight mode. So that means every user just by one click can locate an asset in a 3D model. The user does not have to know where that is located or how he can access the model. One click is just enough. Okay, let me release that. And if I zoom a little bit out, then here you see those functions we built in, like show construction state for pipelines. If I click this, now really in the background, it queries the Unifier database and pushes the data to UniversalPlantViewer. Let me do this for equipments. So you can do it for different aspects. And here, for example, let's have a look on this equipment. That's the T240, and it's already on site. Now let's say we wanted to switch it to ready for installation. So I go to Oracle Unifier, search for my T240. It's this one. So I open it up. It's on site, which we already know. And now it's ready for installation. I save this, go back here and query again. And you see it already has the right color. So it really live grabs the data out of Unifier. You do not have to include the data into your CAD model. You can really connect both sides of that asset together, the graphical side and the data side. Okay, let's reset the color. And let me show you how you can bring data back from UPV to Unifier. And here is my sample. So here you see in this case, the flange is missing for that pump. So what I can do here is I can just type in missing flange, and I can create an RFI just by pressing a button. So I've already done this previously. Let me show you how it looks like in Oracle Unifier. So Jeff already showed you that RFI section. So I go in here, and here you see that we already created a lot of RFIs, and here is my missing flange. I open that one up. And what you see, it stores the position, which usually will be a hidden field, but to make it visible for you, we show this here. it automatically generates the necessary hyperlink in order to show all the 3D elements involved in that request for information. And to demonstrate this, let me zoom out a little bit to another position, go to that request for information. I move it a little bit to the side. And if I click on the hyperlink, you see in the background, automatically UniversalPlantViewer was driven to show exactly the situation for the request of information. So let's assume now the situation was cleared, so the flange was placed, and you wanted to know what initially was the problem. Also, this is possible because when we create that RFI, we automatically also do a screenshot inside UniversalPlantViewer and attach it as a document inside Unifier. So I go to review, and here it loads the screenshot. So you fully have the track over that request for information. You have all the information, including the original situation as a screenshot. So that's quite a cool feature. Okay, I guess that's it for the overview. So let's go back to the slides, and maybe Jeff, you talk about the
Yeah, sure. Thanks again. Thanks for that demo. That was, it was really why we decided that a strategic partnership was the right way to move forward. What this does for asset owner organisations, if we think about what Primavera Unifier is, very much around data, project data, asset data. Whereas UPV is around engineering data, integrating with all of the main authoring tools. But as you saw, bringing that composition of engineering and project asset data together, ultimately within Unifier gives us a digital data asset. And if we think about how our asset owners globally are thinking, they're thinking about how to bring all of that digital asset data into one platform. Unifier can provide that space, and obviously with Unifier, we can add huge value by interacting with all of that data in the model, which is a massive value add to any asset owner. And hence why we're both talking to you today. We think this is a really good strategic partnership, but it's also a huge value add for you as an asset owner.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. So as the final step, now let me have a look on your questions. Okay, so the first question is, can BIM models be used? Yes, for sure. So we support the IFC format as long as a lot of other formats. That seemed to be a question for you, Jeff. Can Unifier support data volumes once bringing all the data together?
Yeah, so if we think about that, Siggy, we have organisations that are working with millions of records in Unifier. So, in terms of data volumes, that really isn't the problem. And as I talked about in the overview, it's really about making sure we actually configure the solution to work with both human interaction, but also integration to bring that data into one common platform.
Okay, so there is a question, what is the size limitation of CAD models? So to be honest, so far we didn't hit that limitation. So even the biggest plant we've seen, and that really in reality was 3 by 3 kilometers, including a harbor with ships, we could visualize in UniversalPlantViewer. And as it is a server-based approach, as I already mentioned, if you have the proper server, I don't see any limitation for the CAD model. Okay, there is the final one. I think it's also for Jeff. What type of workflows can you model in Unifier?
We can model anything from a simple workflow right the way through to the most complex with branching, delegated authorities, and that, I've seen some of the, absolutely monster standard operating procedure swim lanes actually transitioned into a unifier workflow. So not only does it come that workflow, as I say, work with human intervention, but also it can actually call on, as we've already identified during this demo, it can call on APIs and actually work with data from other applications. So not only does it actually support that process of workflow with humans and their interaction, but also with other applications and their data.
Okay, I think that's for now for the question. The rest of the questions you ask, we will answer in separate emails. So yes, first, thanks to Jeff for joining me today. So big thank to you, and thank you all for listening.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.